We talk a lot about the Patterson footage being the number one piece of Bigfoot video evidence, and I think it is. I think it's, the best piece ever recorded. It's never been debunked. It stood the test of time, and what you're seeing is an actual Sasquatch creature. But there's another piece of Bigfoot video evidence that I like almost as much, and I used to think it was a hoax just because certain things I heard about the guy that filmed it, but we're going to get into that a little bit more. The footage is the Paul Freeman footage. Paul Freeman was a forestry worker. He was a Bigfoot researcher. Back in 1982, he supposedly encountered a Sasquatch that was roughly 8 feet tall in the Walla Walla area of Washington. And that was his first sighting. And so after that, he would bring a video camera to work, like a camcorder. Back then it was like on cassette. So he spent over a decade researching Bigfoot, collecting various pieces of evidence in that area, like Walla Walla, the Blue Mountains area. And this guy, he managed to recover so many different track casts of various types. Like, he would have footprints, like track cast footprints that contain dermal ridges of various shapes and sizes and whatnot. But he would also have casts of like handprints and knuckle prints. And all of these casts were being researched by like Grover Krantz. Jeff Meldrum eventually got a hold of his track collection. I think he actually paid him for the whole track collection. And upon close inspection of these casts, like a lot of them appear to be genuine. There was an incident that Jeff Meldrum wrote about in his book Sasquatch: A Legend Meets Science, where he was in that area, the Walla Walla area, and they went to make a surprise visit to check out these casts and whatnot, and to visit Paul Freeman. And while they're there, Freeman was like, well, you guys are pretty serious about this, maybe I'll show you like some fresh tracks. Like, supposedly that morning he was out and he found the first set of fresh tracks that spring or whatever. And so he took Meldrum out to this spot to see these tracks that he found, and sure enough, there was like a huge trackway of tracks that were, I think it was like 14 inches long, 5 inches wide or something like that. And Meldrum was like, thinking it was a hoax, thinking he faked it, because like, what are the odds that they show up that day and he randomly had found a trackway on the same morning? Like, maybe he caught wind that they were in the area and then he hoaxed the trackway and then brought them to it to investigate it. However, on close inspection of the tracks, they turned out to appear to be genuine tracks. And they ended up going to the department store, getting some plaster, and I think they made a series of casts. I think they made like 7 of them or something, of varying quality. But all of these tracks contain like anatomical qualities that are legit. Like, they actually, you can tell that it's a foot that has bone structure in it. And the way like the foot contours around the ground and the rocks and everything, you can tell it's an actual foot. It's not like a fake Bigfoot track put on the bottom of someone's shoe and someone was walking along. It was like an actual legit organic foot. A lot of them showing like dermal ridges and things like that. So this guy, Freeman, he was able to like consistently capture really good evidence, like actual track casts, handprints. It's funny, he even followed a trackway once that led him to this sandy area where there was the track of a Sasquatch ass, because the Sasquatch sat down there, and he took a plaster cast of it, and it was also analyzed by Meldrum, and it's like anatomically correct for like what it should be, what we think Sasquatch should be. And there's like detail in the muscle and whatnot, and you can see like hair in the actual cast and everything. Like, it's all there. So this guy's able to consistently get all this wild evidence. It's just a matter of time until he actually stumbles upon one. He's in the right area. He knows where they are, And so in 1994, he's he comes upon a trackway in the Walla Walla area. I think it was the Blue Mountains area. And he's documenting these tracks with his camcorder, like a VHS camcorder or whatever. Very, very low quality. I'm not going to play the footage here because of copyright reasons, but if you just bring up another window on YouTube, search the Freeman Bigfoot footage, you'll find it. It's super low quality. It's old. It's on cassette. So it is what it is. But he finds this trackway, and he's documenting them, measuring them and whatnot, and he's filming them on this like muddy trail. And he eventually sees a creature ahead of him on the trail, and he locks the camera on it and films it. It like crosses the trail, it disappears for a bit, and then near the end of the film, the creature, you can see it like bend down to pick something up. And supposedly, some people believe it's picking up a juvenile Sasquatch. And you can hear him talking in the video too, saying like, oh, there's 2 of them and whatnot. And I think at one point he's like, oh, there it goes. And I don't know, like when I first saw that footage, I felt like his reactions were kind of like, they didn't seem realistic to me. But when you think about everything that he's captured, all the evidence, all the track evidence, he's in the right spot. You know, he's got these Sasquatch tracks and all these casts that have stood like up to scrutiny from multiple people. It was just a matter of time before he ran into one, and he was hot on the trail of this thing. And maybe he was just so like into the subject and not scared of them at all that his reaction was more that of like excitement and intrigue and not of like fear, because he doesn't sound scared at all to me in the video really. But yeah, the creature itself, when you look at it on the video, it's super low quality. It's hard to make out much for detail, but it does look very reminiscent of Paddy in the Patterson-Gimlin film. Very similar, like same color, like really, really dark, blackish color. And roughly the same height too as Paddy. So, I don't know, that's another one of those instances where you have the creature being filmed and a trackway left to document. You know, if you're going to hoax something, hoax footage, you're probably not going to hoax tracks as well, because that is way harder to hoax than the footage. You know? And this guy, you know, like think of the confidence you would have to make all these fake plaster casts of like the feet, the hands, and the butt and whatnot. Imagine the confidence you would have to cast those and then hand them off to the academics. And then the academics say like, oh yeah, these are probably real. You know, they stand up to the scrutiny. That's crazy. So this guy, like this Paul Freeman guy, I feel like he always believed that what he was finding was legit. And there's chances like he might have come across something that could have been like a hoax trackway and documented it himself. Because you will find stuff online about like him kind of being involved in hoaxes maybe and whatnot. But I don't know, the vast majority of stuff he gathered seemed pretty legit. So I think this footage is real. I think the Freeman footage is real. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this episode of Mountain Beast Mysteries.